Hey, it's Julie. I'm making my full moon video, Virgo full moon, and there were a number of places I thought of going. Gemini full moon, which I never did post, was a cluttered junk drawer, so I was like, well, let's go find an organized drawer. And there's Virgo. Gemini sun, Virgo moon here. But where I ended up going was to this slushy puddle. This is just like on the road. You can see chunks of ice, and then of course melts. This puddle is a reoccurring puddle. Like, I have visited this puddle many times. It's caused by a dip in the side of the road. And as I was coming by it, I was like, this feels very Virgo. And what I'm trying to get, and I don't know if I'm getting it, but what's beautiful about this puddle is how well it reflects the side. So I'm trying to show in there this reflected, there's like these furry cattails that are reflected in the water. So there's something about this sort of like still water reflection that feels very Virgo, and then also very like something else that has happened as I've been exploring things is just really feeling the axes. So like Pisces and Virgo are on a spectrum. I can't sort of like feel one without feeling the other. So here's this sort of like messy, slushy, muddy puddle. And then here's this clear image, like crystallined, or crystallized, I guess is the word, within it. That just, so yeah, okay, so I'm hoping you can see that. You kind of have to come at it from a particular angle. The other thing that's showing up there are some treetops and a telephone pole. Sometimes if I get at a particular angle, I can get the crest of the snowbank upside down. But what should be in there right now is just this upside down but very clear image of the reeds and the cattails. So thinking again on creative abundance, I mean, I'm just like walking along this very ordinary, kind of correct paved road, and coming upon this sort of very ordinary slush puddle, and just being struck by this combination of like messy mixed upness, and then this gorgeous image of still pond reflection. It's sort of like, that just gets communicated and pulled out. Like, okay, so often when I do these things, I'm looking at, I mean, I can even go deeper into this puddle. That was a reflection piece, but then you've got like very cool, I don't know if you can see the edges of ice forming and the bubbles. Now that's something. The bubbles, oh, that's cool. The bubbles that are forming along the side there, and then again reflecting. To me, these are like eyes that the water gets, and it's like it's taking a picture of me. I almost wonder, sometimes I can see my own reflection in these very tiny bubbles. That one's got a piece of red in it. So like this thing that seems so massive actually has these very detailed smaller pieces. Here's some tire crunches that have made these kind of gorgeous crystal structures. So again, like something specific forms within the larger mass. There's a hole underneath that. Sort of the ice is the fluidity of the water. I also love when there's like, there's a definite, sorry, I'm getting kind of like lost in the rapture of this mud puddle, which to me feels very, spot there. Yeah, I was looking, there's a bubble. To me, that feels very spot on. Pisces Virgo is to get this kind of like, that's almost a heart shape. I don't know what, that's like a bubble that's formed and crystallized. Some there, the circles. So I'm just like, slushy mud puddle, and then, which seems like its sort of own large entity, and then you get a little bit closer, and you're like, oh my goodness, Look at the details. So I'm just going to point out where I was just stepping, stirred it all up, and it started to move and swirl the mud, again making amazing patterns. And movement by accident. Or was it? Anyways, here comes a car, and I'm going to stop. Okay, I'm back again. I'm slightly down the road at another puddle. Mud puddle. Very ordinary. And yet from it comes so much story. And if I think of Virgo healing and that kind of like care, I don't know how it is to say that I feel care emanating from a mud puddle at the side of a road, but there's something that it's just offering in its vast yet intricate beauty. Do you see that? Look, see, the breeze is making it sway ever so slightly back and forth. That shadow that's over there, that's a tree that's just swaying ever so slightly back and forth behind me and is making that slight shadow. And then these bubble shapes in this mud puddle are just like slowly and tenderly and gently moving. Often when I come to these locations, I think about the point of view of that which I am observing or interacting with, is more like it. And I just wonder what this puddle is thinking, you know, as passers pass by, as cars splash through it, as my footsteps perhaps go through it, though I'm not doing that now. As the wind is just kind of like gently swaying things back and forth. Yeah. And then, of course, I like to also expand into the timeline of this. Like, what does time feel like? This wasn't here when a road wasn't here. There was something else here. This puddle wasn't here. These bubbles will not be here. This will possibly, they'll pop. So there's like this impermanence to things. Yeah. I'm just kind of like scan down the side here. There's that big puddle. Actually, no, this part, there's more of it. Those usually connect and merge into one big, massive puddle. Anyways, Virgo's given me some very specific and gentle healing nudges here. From something as ordinary. To me, that's also Virgo. It's like the mundane, routine structure of ordinary life yields the Piscean mystery and mysticism. Just, if you just kind of like come at it a little bit differently. It's right there. Okay, thanks. See you next month. Bye.